I'm coming back to that later, but there's some dry stuff around the edge of that garden. But that garden's kind of overgrown. But it's overgrown with wheat, I believe, or oats. One or the other. I've got a wheelbarrow behind here. Imagine that. But there's a big pile of bunny stuff. And there is buckwheat over there that's self-seeded. So all of that is good for the goats, but it doesn't really have a grain on it yet. So I'm going to wait and do that one after I do this one, which I was kind of working on anyway. But I want to get that dry hay out there. So when I was pulling weeds in this garden, I knew there's seed for a mustard, type of mustard over here, that I was growing in the fall. It was a red one. So I wanted to make those seeds stay and dry out nice. So we'll put them over here. Or I'm not doing anything with that at the moment. I will, but I'm waiting. So they'll dry and finish up by then. There's time. You gotta prioritize. But digging in here and digging out all the weeds and hay and sunchokes and whenever I found my garlic, I knew it was in here. And there's a walking onion. Yeah, I lost it again. See, they walk away. Oh, there it is. See? Trying to walk away. There's the garlic that needs to come out, which is good. But those are potatoes. Hubby forgot to tell me that he didn't dig this part of the potato bed because there was a big squash on it. And then when they died down, we forgot they were in here. And we put, oh yeah, we had greens on top, so how can he dig when there's greens on top, right? So I thought we only had those potatoes over there behind that weed. But no, we have other potatoes that are kind of already grown that big. So if they get a lot more sunshine, they'll actually do something. So what kind of thing will be able to grow on this side here with the potato after I dig that garlic out and move that walking onion? Because it keeps getting lost in here. My captain this year, Robert, Homestead Aquarius, he mentioned food forest permaculture stuff in his last video. And it's very important to think about it a little bit anyway. Because food forest will kind of take care of you in a way. Because if you're not feeling well and you didn't get all your stuff planted until late, you already have your parsnips planted and my carrots. I haven't planted any parsnips this year. So I planted some carrots, but they're not doing well. These ones are doing a lot better. And that one, there's a beet over here. I don't even know where that came from. I had beet seeds, but they're way over there. So it might have just came up from last year. That weed there, that parsnip there, they're all helpful. The mallow is a helpful medicine or food. You can eat it, the whole thing. And it's pretty. I like having it around. I don't mind if it wants to grow here. So, things are kind of, I need to water them. And I need to pull some more hay. And it will rain all day tomorrow, but I really need to water bad with moving those transplants yesterday. You gotta keep watering things when you put them in. Sometimes you have to wait to put them in until it rains and it's cloudy. I like putting plant in the area for a day or two, but watch it. And if you're uncertain, put it out on a cloudy day. So the first day is all clouds. Second day has a bit of sun on it. Water it, check on it. You gotta care for these things. If you don't care for your veggie garden, your annual veggie garden, it will turn into food forest. In a food forest system. You need to start planting things like the staples, comfrey, sunchokes, things that grow well in your area. Things that grow so well that they self-sow and you don't have to take care of them. You don't have to come and water them every 5 minutes. Like I kind of have to do that now. It's not too bad. But I need to water those. The kale and the poor meats are Swiss chard there. So I need to water all that in and figure out, yeah, the meats are at the back there, so I need to water them in too. But I'm watering them all in with coffee water. Because it's going to rain tomorrow. That extra nitrogen from the rain and the coffee water, I don't know, it just gives everything that boost when you're transplanting. I'll come out and I'll show you tomorrow. Well, it'll be 24, 48 hours later after the rain. And you'll see. I even needed to weed my greenhouse. Man, that little pond back there needed to be cleaned out. So I need to clean up, well, I need to clean up here. I don't really need to clean the pond out. But it wasn't providing, it provided some nitrogen off the mat and water to make it grow really well. But now it's turning yellow. So I needed to weed. So I'm going to pull all of that out. And I'm going to feed the corn, not the weeds. But okra and sunflowers really did not like it in there. They did not want to be wet, wet, wet. I put the other stuff out here. The corn, it grew taller. The beans grew taller and the peas grew taller. But they're all starting to yellow now. And I would need to put fish in that pond or more nitrogen source. So I'm just going to plant them up. But instead of putting them in a really dry garden where they've been sitting in wet all the time, access to water, I'm going to stick them in where that mulch is. Maybe in the middle of that mulch pile right here. And I think there's a little bit more on the other side. And I'll move a little bit of that hay and that around and put, kind of even it out a bit. And just put it all into there. And we'll see what happens. We have corn everywhere. Those were just a couple experiments. So instead of letting them go to waste, I'm going to put the experiment somewhere where they might actually do something. So I'm going to get to that right now. And I put the coffee water on there. So it'll perk them back up. Raining tonight and tomorrow. So I need to get cracking. Already, look at better. I just pushed that over. Hubby can move it later. So I'm going to make sure that he can get it out. But I'm just going to move that a little bit. Probably pull those sunchokes and that out. Just kind of even that out and put that experiment in. I didn't water that. That's just moist from the bedding. See how much water it holds on to? When I have sand here, it's really important. There was a bunch of worms in here, but they're healthy enough that they went and hid again. And I went and got my camera. But there is a lot of worms everywhere. So it's nice and moist. It's actively growing things, especially on the side. It wasn't on the top, because you gotta break that down before stuff can grow on it. So spreading it out thin and making sure the plant root bottom touches dirt, and it'll take off. It knows what to do from there. So I'm going to get those in and get cracking. It's actually working to keep the weeds down, that mulch. So now that I've got it kind of weeded down at the bottom, I might pull a little bit more out, but it's not really necessary when you put mulch layer on top. So it'll look like that when it's done. All of that's just loose stuff today. But you keep putting mulch on there and you won't have your weed problem. Run out of mulch, your weeds will grow. So now that I've got that all done, I can get her. Oh yeah, I was gonna do something else. There's always something. I didn't dig a hole in here because I'm planting a couple of things right in the bottom of the greenhouse. One at the back and then one probably here. Because I'm not going to have all these plants in here. They're going to be in the garden very, very soon. Anything left over still in here can kind of come to the front and let those plants go at the back. I think I am going to plant an okra in here too. I think one of my bigger okras, and I know I'm going to get something out of it. Then I know it's going to be in here and I know it's going to grow. Maybe a couple. We'll see. Maybe. They're out of the way enough that I can just get what I want at the door, and all the other plants are in the ground. I'll plant the ground full in here, even underneath there maybe. They don't need a lot of sun, like some of your greens, kale and all that can be at the door in the ground. So, we'll get there. Okay, so I put a little bit of corn there around the outside. And then the beans and peas, so they can climb up. The stuff that I kind of left there, use it as a pole to climb up. And the corn on the other side, so it kind of holds it all together. And I'll put something else in there when I need to shove it in the ground. Over here, I'm pulling out all the hay and weeds and everything. So, I just had to pull out that garlic and plant around the potatoes. I needed to cut a little bit more hay, I think, too. I can't remember. Probably some more around here. Cut or pull, whatever works best. Still more over there. It's going to rain tomorrow, so I want to have some drier stuff in the shed that's not wet. I need to order some hay in. I don't have any more rabbit hay left, so I have a lot here. Like, a lot of it is dry. That's what I was cutting today. It's dry anyway. I'm going to put it in the shed overnight. Give it to them in the morning. This stuff here, yeah. That'd be a good idea to cut that. Seed pods are already done on it. It's like drying out, but not completely dry. So, it's good to eat that stuff, I guess. Not guessing, but... Look at the yarrow. Cut some flowers off of that. They're in perfect condition right now. You wait any longer and they'll start getting bugs and brown spots from them aging. See, bugs. They look gorgeous and I want to collect the flowers. I have some leaves coming up everywhere in the lawn. But I want to get some flowers before it's too late. I've got a hayfield. I'll leave some sunchokes, but we cleared out a lot of them. You can actually see my gardening spots. I used some of the guinea pig shavings in here for my carrots. Just a little bit, give them a little bit more moisture holding capability. And over here, and then I can have a break. I'm getting tired. Put a little bit more guinea pig shavings and like bedding and poop in there. So hopefully it'll help hold the water for my beets around the sunflowers. The first one we put together, it's greening up nice. That one is, well, that one's variegated. I've pulled off all the big leaves on it. They're dying back. But that's greening up more than the other ones were green. So it'll come. After this rain, it'll take off. See, another food forest thing, my turnip that planted itself. And there's horehound in there, strawberries in there, and mallow, clover. There's buttercup, but that's kind of toxic. There's berries back there, gooseberries, and got currants and apples, choke cherries. We got grapes growing now, so just plant a lot of things that keep coming back. So if you ever can't put your annual garden in, then at least you got something to fall back on, like the salsify instead of the carrots. Or so much love, everyone.
That's quite interesting to look at. So, but it's better to look at it in terms of population. So this is crude mortality rates, and basically a crude rate of crude mortality rates is its deaths per thousand. So it's taking.
My garden's all shady, and it shouldn't be. But the sun is behind my apple tree, but there's some maple there that can get cut back. You can see I hacked at that tree pretty good. Only left kind of the apple tree. And there's more sun on the garden. There's only one piece left of a maple up top with the apple tree part. I think I'm going to leave that for support and structure. And we can keep pulling the new growth down. Because look at all that. Most of that is just new growth anyway. It grows really quick. So I have a pile there, and a pile at the road. And the goats are going to love me for that. So I'm going to save some in the shed. Howie recommended to put some away for later. And I will do that. Because I want to mix hay and that and other weeds and that together, so they're not just getting one thing. They're also getting their oats, their grain, and a little bit of sweet feed, and hay and alfalfa stuff. So you're getting a wide selection of a little bit of everything. And I like seeing the sun on that garden in the evening. It'll get things growing a lot better. Much love. Caveman already gave a pile to the goats already, and that's what we have left for the next couple of days off of that tree to mix in with other stuff. I'm going to put it in the shed here. I want to show you what I did already. Howie gave me that idea. I did it before with the rabbits. There we go. Just pile it around for a couple of days so you can keep giving it back to them. You can do it for the winter, but I do it outside under a tarp. And that's what I did for the rabbits. The tarp worked to keep the sun off of it. Because if you have the leaves out there in the sun, they'll go brown really quickly. But the rabbits and the goats will still eat the brown leaves. They like the crunchy. So drying them out here out in the sun is a much better idea. Some branches there for some reason. But I'm about to get some more different types of weeds for the goats. Some sun chokes, some hay, and I'm gonna give them some Japanese knotweed. It's down here at the end, and it's an invasive species, and I don't mind it in my food forest hedge here. But because it's thick growth, and then you can see through it in the winter. Like it dies all back, right? All the leaves drop on it. But I have a lot, and I have a lot hanging over. So I'm going to give it a little trim and give some to the goats. And it's going to be here, so I'm not cutting a bunch. I don't need to get the sun out of the garden over here. I just want to cut it back. So I'm going to cut enough for the goats to eat now. But I can come back here even in the winter. The leaves fall off, but you can still chew. They can still chew on the stems and stuff, and my rabbits do. So with this, when you do cut it back, you can cut it back to a node here, and it kind of hides the fact that you cut. So you can kind of do it nicely if you want. To make, let's cut that. So the branches hide the node where you cut. So it kind of looks nice still from the road, nice and flat. You're not really making anything look ugly, sticked out. Because we aren't, like, the sidewalk would be right here, but it's not. We don't have a sidewalk here. So I keep it like we should, because we might one day. So I don't want these things to be kind of getting out of control. See, that cut that right back. So if I want to cut this one, you kind of want to cut all the way back to here to get that whole branch cut off there, right? So you might even want to cut back further, but it should be okay there. This one here, I'm probably going to cut it back to that one right here. So a little bit stuck out, but not a lot. Now, I think there is enough that I can cut it right down if I want. And there's like a few layers in there. So I can just keep coming out here and trim it off when I need some extra goat feed. And I think it'd be a good one to put away too, before all the leaves fall off. I'm going to take that one off there. Hope you're seeing some of my cuts. It's kind of hard to cut on the camera there. But yeah, that trimmed it back quite a bit. Quite a bit of food there for the goats to eat. And I got some sun chokes to pull out again now.
U.S. government continues to print U.S. dollars, we're heading towards this gold supercycle with prices of gold hitting $2,500 for an ounce of gold. Yes, $2,500 an ounce. So the team at Nev Gold told me that investors are flocking to the U.S. dollar right now against these other currencies, but that's only temporary because the U.S. dollar is heading towards a collapse, and we could see a depression bigger than the Great Depression. All the indicators are there, guys. The real story right now is gold, and it makes sense. Why would you want your family's money in a paper currency that isn't backed by anything and will be handed over to central bankers who will move towards a digital structure? Just look at what the Atlanta Federal Reserve said last week. They believe we're already in a recession. Gold mining stocks have outperformed physical gold by double digits in the past two gold bull markets. So investing in a company like Nev Gold, you would be up 36% year to date.